Hey, 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 the camera's working again, man. That took forever, but hey, it's Les Taylor, and Biblical's whatever number it would be could be coming at you. Left off last time with the final empires, which would be the 10 toes of Daniel 2 and Revelations 17:10 through, what is it, 12, 13? Yeah, yeah, where the 10 kings give, that's the 10 toes. And it's also the final empire of Daniel chapter 7 that many people teach as the Romans or a revived Rome or something like that. They try and teach. Of course, you've been on Facebook. You knew for the last how many years it's been Pope Francis and Benedict before him. And now Obama. Obama was a good one that everybody tried to say was the end time Antichrist, and even people worshiping him, right? And lost a lot of friends on that one because God Himself had come down and told them that Obama and that they were the final 7 years, and was really wild. But there's still them two empires. Oh, the other one was Revelations 13:2, the bear from Daniel, the bear, right? The bear empire. They're in the end time, end of the world. Seal up the book, Daniel. It's the end. So the bear that's about to devour much flesh or eat many peoples, or however your translation says that, because it gets disputed how that's translated there. Is about to devour many peoples or basically nations, possibly, in a nuclear war with Mystery Babylon, I guess, right? The lion with eagle's wings empire, British American Empire. And the bear is, of course, Russia, right? Because it's in Revelations 2, so it's an end time empire. 13:2 is the bear, the leopard, and the dragon elect somebody that speaks like a lion to rule, and that's got to be the four-headed beast of Daniel chapter 7, right? And a lot of people teach that's Alex. You know, like they teach it's Alex in other parts of Daniel. The guy that flies across the face of the whole earth without touching the ground, depending on your translation there in Daniel. They try to say that's Alex, and well, the four heads of Daniel 7, that's because it broke into four nations. No, he had like 8 to 12 generals at least. And they all got a piece, and some say even the colonel, like got pieces of land. And it was many, many years before it was reduced to maybe 4. But they are the same ones that teach Antiochus Epiphanes was the Antichrist, the end-time Antichrist, and we're in the millennium or after the millennium and all this other stuff. I would rest assured you that I believe the millennium is still before us. And I guess that's my dog wants in. Be right back. Come on. And you want a morning snacky, I'm sure. Morning snacky. If you were the good baby dog. Yeah. Yeah, get your morning snacky. And, can you see it right there? Oh, yeah, you kind of can. I don't know if you can zoom with this thing, but that's, and where are we at? We're somewhere in the book of Daniel, right? I mean, we could be in some other books. We're certainly just before the second Exodus, because there's all kinds of second Exodus verses that are not fulfilled. And a lot of people can say that's the millennium, right? You go to Isaiah 11, 11:11, I think it is, starts one of them, where the people, all Israel goes home, and they say, no, that was 70 A.D., or that was in 500 when they came out of Babylon. And no, it's Israel coming home. It's not Judah out of Babylon. Israel was taken away by the Assyrians in like 720 BC, roughly, somewhere in that area. There's different dates there, depending on what book you read. And they were carried off to the edges of the empire, it says in Deuteronomy and some of the other books, of the Assyrian Empire. And the same way they brought other people into the Sumerian area, right? From the outer edges of the empire. I don't know, dispersions of people is how the empires play a lot of that. But gets interesting. That all lays before us. And they can say what they want. A lot of people on Facebook really get mad at this. That, and only the 10 toes empire is left, or that Rev 17. But that four-headed beast is also in Revelations, and it may be BRICS. I mean, think about it. BRICS. What is BRICS? Brazil, Russia, Iran, China, and then some other nations are in there. If the I is in India, another huge power. I mean, that's kind of like the four heads, right? There's a four-headed beast that's coming. That's also a financial system, because it has to be financial too, and we can see it rising. And we're just before the bear devours much flesh. It's going to get really mad. This is the time of Jacob's trouble, because it's not just Judah that's in trouble over there. It's all Jacob that's in trouble. The lost tribes. The Isaiah 11. To see that's a lot of them say it's millennial. I had a preacher the other day call me all mad that I was teaching that, because he says that's all millennial, like Ezekiel 37, 16 through, where the lost tribes under Ephraim leads them home. They're going home to join Judah over there, and they inherit all this land surrounding Judah. Or the one where the Christians come in. I think that's a later one maybe, but there are also the wild olives that get grafted into the olive tree, and when the olive tree returns, right, which is coming up. I mean, they say it's millennial, but we go back to Isaiah. Right there, they start attacking and plunder the nations together, right, again. So it's not millennial. There's no war. We see it in the Jeremiah, the 31:8, where like the disabled people get called or start going home, and their kings are bringing them. It's some other verses there, and which is governmental. And they're bringing all these people. Well, they surround. It's like the Christians in Ezekiel 34:11. The great shepherd gathers his sheep from all nations. Right. We see that as Christians. Being Christian, that's Jesus, the great shepherd, and he is going to gather Christians from all nations. Right. And they surround Judah. Basically, as far as I can figure here, is how this all happens, and the reason why, even maybe to defend them, that, in order for the nations and the nations of Islam that surround them, you guys want to try this again, you got to go through all of us to get to them, right? Or something. I mean, something happens, when you read these verses, because we're all going, or what happened? Did the bear devour much flesh, right? Or many peoples, these are interesting times, because the bear has these Zechariah rolls, man, doesn't it? These 30-foot long tubes that are about 10 foot in diameter, and they can carry a wicked fire offering that's sealed in with lead across the face of the whole earth in Zechariah 5, I think it is. And some say, no, that's a scroll and that's words, and no, that's a Megillah. From several different scholars. That's a roll. It's a single roll. It's not, and the words written on it in some translations, it's the wicked fire, or that they're sealing a woman in a 4-liter bag. This is a 4-liter container, and they're packing this evil woman into a basket that they're putting on top of this huge tube, and they're going to seal her in with lead, and they're going to send her across the face of the whole earth. I guess one of the first ones would be into the land of the of Chaldeans. It's going to fly into Iraq, southern Iraq area as we would know it, and build itself a house, I guess. And others say no, it launches from Iraq. It's probably the Iranians bringing a nuke down into Iraq and launching it from there, so that it's not the Iran launching the nuke. It's But interesting times that people could be erased. And I don't know. Well, let's leave it there. That's a lot, and we'll see what y'all say there, because I had others that no, we we beat all them together. You read Jeremiah 49 too. It's some other where we beat them nations over there. We're gonna that's kind of America. It says Israel, so the lost tribes, and that's all. That's all Ephraim. That's a good one. There is the whole Ephraim, right? Because history records the UK and the Anglo-Saxon race and stuff as Ephraim. That's the British. You know, all of them and the lost tribes. They are the Anglo-Saxons and the Caucasians and stuff like that. But if you read Jacob's blessing, Jacob crossed his hands when he blessed, and Joseph says, no, this is the oldest. This is, I know, son, he says, I know. But, no, believe me, he's going to be great too. But this one, the younger, is going to be bigger and greater and, you know, a ruler of many nations, depending on, it's translated several different ways in different Bibles, but he's going to be a ruler of a great ruler of nations too, and he's younger, and he breaks his brother's yoke was another one, and that would have been the revolution, right? Or now that we're breaking the financial yoke, because we're still kind of tied. London, it's London. They say America is the whole mystery Babylon. No, we're the eagle and the eagle's wings. That the lion's crest is still England. That's King Charles now. He holds that crest among the kings, and it's interesting that the whole British, that's the British Empire, the British American Empire, is the one that came after Rome in Revelations 2, right? 5 have fallen, right? The 5 that fallen were Egypt and Assyria. You got Babylon. You got Medo-Persia, and you got Greece are fallen. The one that was is Rome, and one comes after. And a lot of people try to say, no, that's Catholicism, or no, that's Islam. None of them really controlled the world. The British American Empire became the next, and is that whole kingdom beast, too, that arose from the Sea of Nations. See, that's another beast there in Revelations. And that's us too, right? And then there's the final one that comes out of this four-headed monster that's going to rise up, and then 10 kings, you know, that it consumes, it grows to the whole world, which is also somehow the 10 kings that become kings in 1 hour with the beast. That's back to Revelation 17. And that's the 10 toes of Daniel 2, and that all lays before us. It's not behind us, and it's not millennial, because there's no wars. And the Jeremiah too, that they're buying the silver and the gold, that you want to start storing silver and gold if you can and when you can. We started talking about that last year, that this isn't the time to be throwing away your silver and your gold unless you're making idols. Certainly, if you're making idols, or find people throwing away idols of silver and gold, you can take it to the melter and melt it down and have it made into some coins or some something, right? Because you're going to want all that for the transition and the money in the breakdown that's coming. Possibly even, this is Matthew 24:22 coming at us, a day that angels have to protect people, or that no flesh survives, right? That God's got to shorten the days, I guess, is the main translation. King James, he shortens it, or no flesh would survive. That's not just us. It's even my dog, right? The deer, no flesh. Possibly the fish too. I don't know. It could get bad. Which would also be Daniel 12. We end this with some hope. It's Daniel 12 one time that Michael's going to stand up to save his people, right? And the Lord himself is coming to rescue you. There in Ezekiel, 37. Or no, let's go back to Ezekiel 34:11 through. The good Lord, the good shepherd, is coming to rescue you. He's going to rescue you, and he's going to gather you from all nations. And there are things you could do to prepare for that, possibly. Preparing for that would be get your passport, right? Because he's coming from a far nation for you, and you got to travel afar, right? I mean, you may need a passport, and you want to get it before you have to be chipped. right? I mean, get the digital. They call it digital, and everybody's so against it. No, it's Antichrist, but it's still no different than my ID in my wallet, right? It's the passport. I'd have to show it to a little book, and it's got all these digital pictures of you, and they told me leave all the rest of that home, your whole wallet, right? The lady, she said, no, when you get this, even when you're traveling, because if you got to fly home, you're gonna that license, your New York State license, ain't gonna get you home, right? You need your passport. And you leave all the rest of that stuff, your social security number, your birth certificates, your all of it. You leave it locked somewhere in a safe when you travel, and you just take your passport. So, I mean, I don't know what the cops would say when they stop you along the road over this, but, oh, we need your license, and I was told to leave it home. No, isn't it right there in the passport that some of that was taken from my... You got me. I don't know how this is going to work. It's interesting. And some silver, right? They were buying land for silver there in Jeremiah, in the second Exodus. And that's another one, because they would say, no, that's the millennium. That's the millennium. How do you not know that's the millennium? Are you going to have to buy land for silver in the millennium? No. No. You're not. I don't believe Jesus is going to make you buy land, right? Which is part of the whole division of Israel for the book of Joel, where they divide Israel there in Joel 3. The war we're possibly going into is the main next one, right? Because they're dividing Israel, which would be in Joel 3:2, 3:3, 3:1 right there. It's all over that in the Palestine. As you read it a little further, and tells the world to prepare war, and he's bringing all nations. Because, we are one kingdom under God, right? There is no two kingdoms. You are not going to divide Jerusalem. It belongs to God. And it is one people and one nation, and it is going to fill the earth, and there will no more be two nations, right? That is the millennium, right? Even Antichrist and the one world army they come up with to try and kill us all off or stop Jesus, because that's the one world army. Where's this one world army? They should be gathering. If this was the end, the one world army would be gathering all of its troops to Jerusalem to try and stop Jesus and the angels and the saints from coming back, right? That's not where we're at. We're at, well, we just told you, we're before the bear devours much flesh, or eats many people, or basically it's possibly Zechariah's nuclear war, and nations are to be removed, or as Trump says, erased, right? I wouldn't, well, we'll leave it there. This has been long. And hey, thanks for watching if you're still watching, and thanks for listening. You can put your comments down below, click like, share. That's how the end times are playing out. If you see it any different, please let us know, and we can maybe discuss it in the next one. It's how this one come to be, that a couple of preachers have called me, even over the Greek Empire, me and the last one, saying that she's hallucinating. It's possible she saw a bird, or heard a bird, or a squirrel, or something. I guess I gotta go. Maybe she's not hallucinating. Maybe there's somebody really out there. I'll catch you all later. But it was over. I didn't say Alexander isn't in the Old Testament. He certainly is the bronze. There in that statue in Daniel chapter 2. He's also in part of the 5 have fallen, right? So, I mean, he's there, but he's not the guy that flew across the face of the whole earth. He didn't die without hand because he was poisoned. He didn't break into 4. He had at least 12 generals or more that divided up land, as far as I can figure from my history books, as I remember this. And Alexander doesn't fit it. But he is in Daniel 2. He's in Revelations as part of the 5 that has fallen. He's certainly there. The Greek Empire is there. They thought Antiochus was the Antichrist for a long time, but that all lies before us. None of that's behind us. So I don't know what they're talking about. And God bless y'all. In Jesus' name, we pray for y'all. May He cover you with His wings. And the Holy Spirit, fill you with hope and peace. And we're going to get through this thing.